Jeff in the corner down the bottom there, and the other way, Dave from Narrowboat Changing Pace. And we have had a few technical problems, mainly with Dave tonight. So,
just for a change.
So we might have to bear with him. And I think what we'll do is we'll get Dave out of the way first to see if it works. We're not allowed to interrupt him, right? Because I think the microphone might play up. But Dave, we're going to just see what you've been up to since we last spoke before Christmas. And and I'm going to go straight to you, mate. You crack on.
Right. Hello. We haven't done a lot since Christmas. And we've been having problems with batteries. They're not holding charge. It's taking ages to charge up. So I looked at replacing the batteries, and on as many travels over Christmas, we called in a tiny batteries, which is in real North Wales, with the idea of buying 5 leisure batteries. Long story short, he said, don't buy leisure batteries, you want these industrial ones, they'll last longer, they'll give more output, and they're 3 times more expensive. Oh, but we haven't got them in stock. So we came away from there without any batteries, and over New Year, when it will open, we met up with Sol and Christmas, over New Year, sorry, my mind's a blank. I
might have to stop you because the audio is horrendous. Everyone's saying in the comments the audio is really bad, can't hear you. And Louise is just saying, no. That's all she said.
Smile away.
Well, we talked about that.
It ain't happening, mate. It ain't happening. If you could hear the audio, what we'll do, we'll skip round, Dave.
Yeah.
The only thing I could think would be to use your phone, really, mate, to improve it, but it not work.
Can't log it on the phone.
No, you can't. Right, okay.
Collier.
All right. Well, what we'll do, right? We'll go the other way, and we'll come to you at the end, and I'll fill in some of the gaps about your journey and your batteries. All right.
Don't cry, Dave.
Yeah, we'll go to Sol first. All right. So Dave apologises, but he is having a bit of a moment with audio. Anyway, Sol, let's go to you.
Hello.
Since we last spoke, not since I last saw you, but not since we last spoke.
There's not been a lot happened. Our new layout, because we're changing our bed from cross bed, so we're getting up, breaking up as bad as Dave.
Yeah.
You people in vans.
Oh no.
Yeah.
You were doing fine before, but your service has dropped.
You're on and off.
Your service has dropped a little bit.
Yeah. I'm in a really bad spot for internet. It's terrible here.
Oh, it's not too bad now. Carry on anyway. So you're changing your bed from to a cross bed, aren't you?
That's our plan. So I've got all the bits I need. The only thing I need is a wire, because I'm moving my hot water tank about 8 inches over to a foot across, so it'll fit in the bed, in the actual bed. So I've got an ottoman bed. So all I need to do is make sure I get the correct wire for that.
Yeah. And you've moved. You're in Glaston. You're still down. You're still in the marina, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm saving me pennies for a new engine. Well, a recon engine.
Yeah. He's going to bite the bullet.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's got to be. So that's the plans for this
Fix
year.
it up.
Yeah. So what's the plan? So what's the plans for that? When you open to get all that done?
Well, get the done and dusted, cupboard thing finished in that bedroom engine.
Yeah. Oh, what's that? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Someone saying ouch, ouch was a few pound signs for your engine. I don't think it'll be that bad, will it? I mean, they're not. It's not going to be cheap. It's not going to be as bad as like a new engine, is it?
No. Got one on eBay and it was like 2.5. So yeah, that, and I can pinch bits off my engine to put on the other engine if need be.
Yeah, yeah. And then you can either rebuild that, aren't you, and then get rid of that and oh, hang on, Dave's back. Hang on, let's click him on. Hang on a sec. Hang on a sec. You there, Dave?
What?
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you. Are you on your phone?
Yes, I've just logged in on my phone.
Excellent. We can hear you better than Sol now. Sol's playing the other game.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Drop my phone.
We do look professional.
That's me done anyway.
Yeah.
That's me done. That's my plans.
Is it? Right. Okay. We'll go back to Dave then. We'll let Dave start his story again because it's quite a good story anyway. So start again at the beginning.
Right.
About your battery debacle.
Right. For the past couple of months, we've been having, as batteries have been slowly degrading. So we've been thinking about replacing battery banks. We've got 510 amp hour batteries, which we were recommended by a company in Sheffield, which cost us a small fortune. It lasted 2 years, and we're having to charge the boat up twice a day now. So it's costing us a small fortune in diesel. So over the Christmas period, Christmas holiday, I found a link to a company called Tanya Batteries, which is in North Wales. So we went over there to with the intentions of buying leisure batteries. The guy there more or less said, "You're wasting your money. You want industrial batteries, they'll last a lot longer. They'll give you more output, and instead of 5, you'll only need 3." And they hadn't got them in stock. The Trojan batteries, which they had got in stock, which were insanely expensive, we couldn't stretch to them. It were too much money for us. So we came away from North Wales. Then we met up with you guys over New Year. We had a conversation with you, Glenn, about buying cheap leisure batteries and just ragging them about for 2 years and then replacing them again. And for the same money as the industrial batteries, we could probably get 3 sets of cheap leisure batteries for the same money. Now, the industrial batteries that the bloke at Tanya said, they'd last us 3 or 4 years, but they'd only guarantee them for a year. So that sort of rung alarm bells. So we sort of said, well, we'll go down that road. We'll buy leisure batteries and see how we go. Then when we went up to Sol's boat, we were having a chat with Sol, and we were talking in pub about splitting battery bank and having 3 at 5 to run the inverter and two of the 5 to run the fridge and the lights and the pumps on the boat, which sort of like sounds a good idea, but it makes charging the split battery bank a little bit more complicated. So that's what I were hoping to chat about tonight, to see if anybody's split their battery bank and how they go about charging it from one alternator. So I've got 2 alternators on engine, one for starter battery, one for leisure batteries. But in effect, I'm going to have 3 battery banks, and I didn't know how I was going to be able to charge if I split the battery banks, 3 for inverter and 2 for the fridge and the lights and general stuff. How am I going to charge them from the inverter? So that's my quandary at the moment, and that's why we haven't bought any batteries yet, because I'm not sure how we're going to set it up.
Yeah. Is it not just a split charger?
I don't know. I've used, before we had the engine changed, I used the split charger because the old engine had only got one alternator, and I never got on with it. It never worked properly. And now I don't know whether that were how I'd set it up or what, but I could never get it to work properly.
We've got one on ours. We've got a split charger on ours because we've only got one alternator.
So is that automatic, Glenn?
Is it what, sorry?
Is it automatic? Does it charge one up when that's full? Move on to
it always on ours. It always does the starter first, or I think it might be set on level of the batteries.
Right.
I think it monitors what batteries are lower, and then charges them. Because I've tried it with a meter on it, and there's no sort of rhyme and reason. It don't seem to do, it seems to be different ones at different times. It's only a little tiny round. I've seen them before. They're not really that dear. They're only about 50 quid. And it's literally, there's loads of different ones you can get. There's loads of ones with battery monitors on them. There's one with, with just lights. But I turn as soon as we stop the boat, I turn our leisure battery off. Not our leisure battery, sorry, our starter battery. Yeah. So I isolate that battery so that it can't be drained by anything.
Yeah.
Just to make sure the water level with the batteries, ain't you, Dave?
Pardon?
You have to check the water level in the batteries.
They're sealed.
Yeah, but they're not. Sometimes you can still get in them. I would take them. They got a little glass you look through that goes green and red.
No.
And you want to look it up because you can get into them. Because Dale gave me, I think, 4 of his. They were sealed. I got into them. They were all dry water.
Yeah.
You can get into them.
There's even on top of batteries, Jeff. There's nothing on them at all. It's just like a complete sealed.
There's nothing on the stickers.
No, there's no stickers on them.
There's no stickers on them.
Yeah, I said that to you.
Google it, mate. It's worth a try. I'm sure we'll be out getting them somehow.
Yeah, I might do that.
But the thing is, Jeff, that Dave and Louise spank their batteries. I mean, they are constantly, in use.
Yeah, that's probably why the water's gone. I bet they're low water.
Yeah, it's just like if they're sealed,
a hole in it. I'd even drill a hole in it, fill it up with water, and put a cap in it. It's only plastic, isn't it?
Yeah, it goes Sol back. Hang on, let's have Sol. Sorry, Sol disappeared. There you go. I'll bring him back. Look, there's his hand. Yeah, It's a real tough one. I mean, when we did Nutshells batteries, originally we were down to 3 batteries, but we were generally always in a marina, so we were always plugged in.
Yeah.
And then when we did go out, they did run down quite quickly, so I went back up to 5. But I bought a new bank. I changed them all.
Yeah.
And we only had it about a year, I think, year and a half with those batteries, and they were still performing pretty well after a year and a half. But then we probably weren't using. Well, we probably were back then because we had a generator. But you know, the same as you do, we used to flick a generator on, but we were relying on the batteries most of the time.
Yeah.
It's a real. Sorry, I just read something. I'm just going to say hello to the boating photographer quickly and Kev C. It's Kevin promoting wearing glasses. So, yeah, we all. Oh, there's soul again, gone again. But yeah, so I don't. So I'm not. I'm a bit loath to spend hundreds and hundreds of pounds on batteries. Especially when they're only giving you 12-month warranty and you've got no comeback after that. I mean, I know these other batteries say 4 years, but I think it's 4 years or how many cycles they do in it.
Yeah, he said that if you're using them every day, the 4-year warranty is void. They're for like caravans or boats where you might use it 5 or 6 times a year, and the rest of the time they're not being used.
How would they know?
I don't know. I suppose I don't know. I don't know, Glenn.
It's not like it's got a counter on it, how many times it's been charged up and down.
No.
Oh, I thought it might be a bit of an trying to get you to upgrade a little bit there and spend more money. I think yeah, I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced. You've always got on all right with normal batteries, anyway, haven't you?
Yeah, we've always got at least 2 years out of a bank. What from what this guy was saying, and he sort of made sense, and I think it was a bit of both. I think you're right. He was trying to sell some better batteries, but he ain't got them in stock, so he did himself out of a sale of 5 leisure batteries, really.
Yeah. It was silly, really, because you'd have bought them otherwise, wouldn't you?
Yeah. If I hadn't spoke to the bloke, see, I only asked the bloke. I only asked to speak to him because we'd looked at ankle batteries, but they got several different makes, and I only really spoke to him to see which were best deal, and then he says, "Are you using them?" and this, that, or other, and he says, "No, you don't want leisure batteries. You want these." And then he ain't got them, so it were like they're all a bit.
And the ones he had got were like 300 odd quid each, weren't they?
Yeah, the Trojan ones were like eye-watering money, and I thought, yeah.
Warranty.
Pardon?
With a year's warranty.
With a year's warranty.
Yeah,
so. But me and Louise had the discussion, and she says, "Well, let's do something different from the leisure batteries. Let's try the industrial ones." And it weren't till I spoke to you and we had that conversation where, well, you can get 3 sets of leisure batteries for the same money. So the industrial ones have got to last you 6 years to even make it worthwhile. Do you know what I mean? And I can't see these industrial batteries lasting 6 years.
I've just seen on there from Narrowboat Liberty. They've spoken to boaters who have got forklift batteries for 10 years, and they're saying it's they're from creditable people. So basically, forklift batteries. I presume that's what an industrial battery would be, would it?
I think so. I think it's same technology, but I've heard same about these Trojan, the Trojan forklift batteries. But from what I can gather, they're quite big batteries, and I don't know whether a normal charger would charge them. I don't know enough about them, but this bloke was saying that the Trojan industrial batteries, what he was trying to sell us, were in the same casing as a leisure battery. Says it was just the internals that were different. So I don't know about that.
Yeah. So how are you getting on with the Jackery in the meantime?
The Jackery seems to be working all right. You're probably better off. Lois is probably better off answering that question. But yeah, the Jackery is taking the weight off the battery bank through the day.
Yeah.
And then we just charge it up. She's got solar panel placed in window to catch a bit of the solar power to charge it in there. But when she's charging engine, when she's running engine to charge the battery bank, she's charging the Jackery at the same time.
She got it. She got it at the boat, and yeah.
But so we sort the batteries out on the boat. You know, she might as well have it because I use very little power in van.
Yeah.
But the reason I disappeared was that I got the laptop on and it just killed inverter on.
Oh, did it?
It was bleeping,
Jackery, mate.
Yeah, it was bleeping and screaming, so I thought I better unplug it before it caught fire or something.
Yeah, no, that's all right. It's working better on your phone anyway, mate.
Yeah, I just can't say anything. I can't say any comments or out.
Can you not? All right, yeah. Well, I'll run through anything that's there. But so that's where you're at. You haven't done much yet. What else have you done?
Nothing really. We moved at weekend. We got some friends down come down on Saturday. Paul and Natasha. They sometimes join us on this. They came down, so we moved about 3 miles because we needed to fill up with water. So we filled up. We just finished filling up with water, and Evans opened it, absolutely bailed it down. So last 20 minutes from filling up with water, getting through one at Swing Bridges and finding somewhere to moor, it was absolutely horrendous. It was coming down horizontal rain. It was unbelievable. So Louise and Natasha hid in boat, and me and Paul got wet, absolutely soaked. Yeah, absolutely. And it was freezing. It was blowing a gale, and it just sky went black. So as we were cruising down, it was nice and sunny. It were cold, but it was nice and sunny. And then waiting for water tank to fill up, could see sky going black. I thought, oh my word! So, but yeah, we're all right. Like I say, we haven't done much over Christmas, boat wise. But yeah, I mean, Christmas and New Year was great.
Dare we say the word, Dave?
What's that?
Boiler.
Oh, no, it isn't. Boiler. Oh, yes. We used it. Since we last spoke, it hasn't leaked. We haven't had it on, but it hasn't leaked. The water level had stayed on the minimum mark. So we actually used it over the weekend. It worked fine. And when I left the boat yesterday, it was still on the same level as it were before. So whether it were, I'm hoping, I don't know whether, I haven't spoke to Louise today about it. I don't know whether she's checked level today. But whether it were just pockets of air in it that just kept popping out and self-bleeding itself, like level were going down, because couldn't see any visible leaks anywhere. And we've eventually got all air out of the system. But touch wood, that seems to be semi-solved itself.
Good. Showers on board again then.
Showers on board.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, I think you've probably done more than any of us, Dave, to be fair with that lot, with the battery debacle and all the rest of it. So we'll whip over to Jeff. See what we're not going to call him Chili Jam Jeff anymore. We're going to call him Caretaker Jeff.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, we haven't been well, so we haven't done a lot. But we did have a bit of disaster. The shower tap froze, and they pushed the end of the tap out straight through the wall.
Did it?
Yeah, put it through, like, you know, that board they put in the shower. It's not tiles, it's whatever they call it. That pushed it straight through that.
Did it?
But I had a tap at home, so I made 1 out of 2.
Right.
But it fitted it. It worked, but it dripped, because when it drips, the pump keeps cutting in. The water's going down, so I had to go and bite the bullet and put a new tap in. But I've just sealed the hole up for now because she wants to alter the bathroom about. What else we've done? I started to make a plate for the top of the fire, because our pots, if we put a pot on, it overhangs. And I don't want to take the chimney out, so I'm going to do it in 2 halves. It's on my channel if you look. I've cut it now. It's all ready to go and fit it to the fire to make sure everything's right. Yeah. And I'm going to bolt it together with 2 angle irons so it can't twist. So the angle irons are going to be touching the side of the fire. So if it ever gets knocked, it can't go nowhere.
Right.
So yeah, that's what I'm working on at the moment. I've got to go back over them, make sure everything fits. What else? I'm in contact, believe it or not, from a company. So I told them about you lot with the Jackeries, and I wondered if they was interested in sending me one to compare their model, and they seem to be interested. So we'll have to wait and see. I won't tell the company yet, in case they don't take the bite, but they have come back to me and said they were interested. So we might have a one we can compare it with.
Cool.
Yeah, very good.
That'd be good. Well done, mate. Don't ask, don't get, and all that.
Yes, right. I've asked a few. This one come back. As I say, I'm not saying names yet in case they don't, but they said they were interested. That was yesterday. He emailed me. So they could even be watching this. I don't know. I just said, like, everybody seems to have these Jackeries. Would you be interested in sending me one of yours? We can do a comparison. So
yeah.
Don't ask, don't get, do you?
No, absolutely. Actually, Narrowboat Liberty just said on there, how do you rate the Jackery compared with a petrol generator? We are looking at buying one or the other, maybe a Honda.
Hondas are good, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, it's a different thing, really, isn't it, as well? Because, we find we've got obviously the 1000 Jackery, and we find that running lighting and stuff in the boat is much, and charging phones and Lisa using her laptop a lot easier with a Jackery, and it just saves the leisure batteries, so they can run the fridge and the pumps, the water pumps and that. So it just means that we don't run our engine so much, and when we do, we charge the Jackery up a bit like what you said, Dave. As soon as we start the engine, we'll plug it in, just charge it up. But we've never. I mean, we had it for a week and a half, and it made, for us, the Jackery made a massive difference. It just depends which one you get as well, because obviously Dave got the 500, we got the 1000, but we don't run anywhere to its capacity. So it just depends how much you're struggling, I would say, with your batteries. I mean, I know Jeff's got a generator. I've got a small generator, which I haven't even opened yet. But we've got nothing on board that would require anything bigger than a 1,000 watt one anyway, or 1,000 amp one anyway. So it just depends what you want to run on off of it. Loads of people have the Hondas. They are good, but they are dear.
They are dear. They're quiet. I will give them that. They are quiet, but there's plenty of
They
others
are
on
very quiet. They are very.
The Kippo ones are as good and a lot cheaper.
Which one?
Kippo.
All right.
Kipor, based in Midlands, Nottingham.
Okay.
Yeah.
They are getting quiet. I've seen one that's like a square and it's camouflaged colours. I couldn't even tell it was running, to be honest. It was that quiet.
Yeah.
We've got what size? A Hyundai, wasn't it?
Oh, Hyundai. That's what Charlie's got, that Hyundai.
Yeah, it seems all right. The only thing I had to choke the knob when you pull the choke, it come out. So I take all it to front and just put the nut back on it. Apart from that, it's touch wood, it's been as good as gold. But that just sits at the back of the boat. And then the batteries are getting down. We run the TV and everything and charge the batteries at the same time. So
yeah, that's what.
I would be interested to see if this man sends me one of these power things. And
it'll all depend on what size he sends you, but it'll run.
Yeah, if he's watching this, they send me a big one to compare with yours.
Really? Hey, it's not about the size, mate.
You like, can't you? Otherwise, it's not fair, is it?
It's not. It's not about the size, you know.
Yeah, who you been listening?
So that's what you've been up to. I noticed you were on the boat a few weekends, weren't you?
We were up there this weekend. We were going to go out, but the weather, man. Plus, we still not right. Sally's getting over COVID. We're just not right.
No,
I haven't been right for weeks, so
we
were going to go up and turn it around, but we didn't bother in the end. We just stayed over there at night and then come back.
Yeah. Do you have to park down the end and walk up?
Yeah, because they're all the works are going on opposite now.
Right.
You know what it is. I can't tell you what's going on, but
yeah, I bet it's muddy anyway.
Well, no, they've stoned everything. It's the whole field is near enough covered in stone now.
Oh, is it?
There's big things up and everything.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Well, thank you for that enlightenment, Jeff. We'll now go round to Sol, because Sol is in the green, so I'm expecting great things from the audience. We'll try again and we'll go again.
Right, so all I'm doing is my bed is going from an inline to a cross bed. So I've cut up an ottoman bed and made it into bits. So I've got to fit all that. I've got to put shelves either side of that bed. So then we can change the bathroom to a walk-through bathroom then. But after that, it's just engine. Engine's got to come out and a new one's got to go in.
Yeah. Are you going to do that where you are?
Yeah, hopefully we can do that and sort it out from that way.
Yeah.
But it all really depends on money, really, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So, yeah. But that's about it, really. That's all we're on with at the moment. So hopefully January I'll get the bed done. February, maybe March I'll get an engine. It'll all depend on money.
Money, that's what Jeff was saying. Yeah. I mean, the thing it'd be worth keeping your eyes open for one, wouldn't it?
I've seen a few come up and about. I can pick one up. It's sort of like 1,900 to $2,500 for a refurb one, but they're the 1.8. Now, I believe the 1.8 are just a similar size, the exact same size as the 1.5. So I can just whip out the 1.5 and bung in the 1.8.
Yeah, I think some of the bits are slightly different, aren't they?
Yeah, the diesel pump's in a different position. Yeah, so as long as it's marinized, it's all right. I can, because mine's keel cooled. So
is it?
Yeah.
So are you working away at the moment? Is that why you're in the van?
Yeah, I'm in my brother's van. My van died of death.
Is it done?
Yeah, something went through the turbo. Something big and nasty. Smashed things up inside it and got into engine bit sounds of things.
Oh, so it is toast.
Terminal.
Yeah, because all fins on the actual turbo was all right, but all the fins had big chunks out of them. So
Right.
They reckon something's gone through as I've been going out motorway. Something's got sucked in and boom.
Okay.
End of story.
Yeah.
I'm
There's
gonna
a lot
bump-
of smoke and clattering and banging.
Is it not repairable at all, or is it new engine?
New engine and for the van, for the engine, it's like $3,000. So I was kind of like, yeah, well, might as well buy a new van.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to do. We're going to buy a newer van in
Yeah.
a couple of months down the line.
That was a nice Christmas gift, wasn't
Just a bit, yeah.
it? And it seemed to have been a year for a van deaths last year.
Yeah, don't talk to me about vans.
Yeah. I mean, I was looking at engines and I could have picked one up, and I just thought in the end, I've got all that hassle taking out the old engine, putting a new engine in, and I could buy a Duff one. So you just kind of, my mate just went, just buy a new one, mate.
Jeff's an expert on transit engines. He knows how to swap them.
I know how to swap them. He's getting them going again. I found out in the end. Find the ECU and swap the ECUs over as well.
Yeah.
Two engines out, one back in. So like swapping one out of one van into the other. Got everything done. Would it start? Would it out? Asked a load of people. Yeah, they are a bit of a pig to start once you've had them to bits. So I whirled it over, got diesel. Nah, it wouldn't start. Got to have an ECU somewhere. I'm not taking the pump off. Eventually, buried in the back of the dashboard, there's an ECU. Swap that. Away it went.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, I just thought I'm not getting involved in that. That's too much ass. I've got a big job to finish. So
you can afford it anyway. Just buy a new van.
yeah.
You
They're coming down in price again.
Mate.
Transits are not too bad actually, price wise.
Yeah, they're coming down a bit. So
yeah,
I'll hang on for a bit, see how much they come down for.
Narrowboat Liberty said, "So, did you ever improve the access to your weed hatch?"
No, that's not. That's sort of I need to have a really good think about that. How I'm going to do it.
I think so.
Yeah, it's just a pen bum.
Coming, you haven't you?
There's not much room in your engine bay, Sol.
There is not.
No room.
Tiny.
It's tight.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't even get to the front of the engine because my hands won't fit down.
Really?
It's that close.
Why is it that small in there?
It's because they've made the most of the internal. So even though my boat's only 45 foot long, I've got probably as much room as in a cruiser stern, a 57-foot cruiser stern on some boats, especially with the big cruiser sterns. We've got a huge amount of space.
Yeah. Oh well, we'll watch this space, Jeff. We'll watch what Jeff's up to then, and then we'll see how you get on with your van later this year. And your engine, I think the engine's more important. So
that's first thing that's got to be fixed is that engine's got. I've got to put a different engine in. Yeah, a recon engine. I mean, I could send it off to Calcut Boats. It's about $3,500 to have it refurbed. And I thought, I've done a lot of it myself, so
yeah,
you know, it needs new rings. Definitely needs new rings. It needs new seals. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Have to bore it out though, won't they? You might as well bore it out while they're there because obviously the liners are probably pretty glazed as well, I'd imagine.
I mean, I can. It's and to take it out and have it refurbed is 11 weeks.
Yeah, that's like most of the year, isn't it?
Yeah,
first 3 months, isn't it?
Yeah, so I'm
done. It's too long, isn't it?
So if I can take it out and drop an engine in a couple of days later, then I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Plus, I always think if you do it 12 weeks after you took it out, you'll forget where bits go. You end up with half a dozen bolts left over and stuff.
Bucket full of things.
Yeah, bucket full of things. You think, oh, and then so I always like to do it as quick as possible so I can remember everything where it all goes.
So, and another thing we're going to do, which is later on, possibly really late on in the year, is we're going to look at a plug and play system, a lithium setup, and have it completely separate from the engine and just running off the solar panel to see whether, because this one's supposed to be a really good system. It's expensive, but if we could run something off that, like our lights, pumps, or TVs, or the fridge, or something like that, if we can run that without using engine power at all, that would be quite useful.
Yeah.
It's like a 2 kilowatt battery, and it's a plug and play system, so it's really simple. Everything's all in the box.
That's the battery. It's got everything included in it.
Yeah.
I saw one of those advertisers. It's got the charger and everything in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Well,
saw.
We were talking. Me and Dave were talking, and we sort of came to the conclusion that his what's his name, inverter was absolutely tanning his batteries.
Yeah, that's the point, Dave, isn't it? Because you changed the inverter, didn't you?
Yeah.
He's set up mostly for 240 volt.
Yeah.
Is it?
So, I mean, that his boat was set up 10, 15 years ago, wasn't it? So, and 230 volt was the way to go. Whereas now we're more in 12 volty way. So that's why I thought about splitting the bank. At least then he could only tan 3 lots of batteries. And if he was using lithium, he wouldn't have an issue. He'd just take the knackered one out, put a new one in.
Right.
Because the lithiums you can swap and change.
I forgot about your inverter. It just makes you wonder because it's a bigger inverter than your old one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's 3 kilowatt.
The weighed a ton, didn't it?
I don't ever want to have to change that. If that ever goes, it's staying there. I'm breaking it in.
It's gonna build a cupboard round it and hide it.
Yeah,
make a coffee table out of it or something.
It's. I mean, yeah, I think Sol's right. Our boat is set up for 240, and 12 volt systems. I've moved on a lot since I built the boat. But to actually, and I think the plug and play system that Sol's on about is sort of like a step up from Jackery, isn't it? It's
you
know what I mean. So to rewire our boat would be a nightmare. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I've got enough problems with batteries without trying to rewire a boat.
Yeah.
So I think we're gonna see how it goes with these batteries, but I'm gonna have to research this split charge and that, see, because I've got huge battery box, but I've got no room to play about with anything. I can't change because we've got a smart gauge that monitors the battery, and on their website is the correct way to wire your batteries, so that all the load isn't going through one battery.
Yeah.
But can't you fit another alternator?
Pardon?
Can't you fit another alternator?
No, I'm not. No. Two's enough.
Why not? Change the bottom pulley so you've got 2 V belts on it, and away you go.
Don't know. It's getting this is getting more and more complicated. I'm
not easy to put another alternator on it. I know.
Yeah.
What about a windmill, Dave? As well, you need one of them for when it's.
What?
You need one of them windmills for when it's windy.
Yeah, we saw a boat yesterday who got one of them big windmills, them circular windmills on top of his boat, and he was just doing donuts in the middle of the canal. I don't know what he was doing, and he were actually towing a shark 20 foot behind boat, and he was just cruising up and down and spinning boat around like 360 degrees and shooting off that canal and then coming back, and Christ knows what he were up to. It got this huge shark's fin that he was dragging behind boat. It was quite bizarre. And he got music blasting out. He were having a whale of a time.
I'm just gonna say hello to Dale and Dawn. You know Dale's retired, don't you, Jeff?
I knew someone was going to say that.
And he just said, "Do you know Quick Boat Show tickets are on sale already?"
Yeah.
Do you know that? And Narrowboat Liberty said should have a transversal engine like an Austin 1300. Get some hydroelastic suspension too. Smoother cruising down the Glaston Arm.
Yeah.
Now you are talking shit with hand cars, man.
Anyway, I'll run through what we're doing as well, seeing as I haven't done it yet. So obviously we're just about to, in the next 2 weeks actually, moving back onto the boat until March anyway. So we'll be on it for a good month before we then take some stuff down to the caravan and spend time down there. I've handed my notice in at work. Last Tuesday, that's done. I finished at the end of March, so we're going to be getting a lot more cruising in. We've started to do, went down the boat yesterday, moved some stuff around to make living, obviously, because everyone knows how tiny our boat is. Well, I don't know if you've been in it, but it is tiny. I am slightly concerned on the rim factor, but I have moved some stuff around, ready for doing some slight adjustments and increasing the size of the kitchen very slightly. The batteries, so ever since we've had the Jackery, we've had no battery issues at all, and we were out in that really bad ice for nearly 2 weeks solid. So, and we had no. The only thing I did a couple of times, I took the Jackery to work to charge it. It wasn't particularly flat, but I thought as I was going, I could leave it at work, plug it in, and bring it back in the evening. So, you know, all of our leisure batteries really run the fridge and the water pump, and the gulper pump and the 12 volts lights. We don't use 12 volt lights when the Jackery's plugged in. We've got other LED lights that we use, and it uses nothing. I think like all night it's like 2% or something, and that's on a 240 ring of like lights in the boat. We put a string of lights all the way around the boat, which are 240. Plug the Jackery in, so it's running all the sockets in the boat, and just leave that. And it's about 2%, and then plug in my phone in charging overnight. You know, you wake up in the morning, it's taken another % or something. It's like tiny. So I haven't tried the charging system yet. It's got the actual solar panels, because the boat's quite small, are quite big. You know, like that one you've got, Dave.
Yeah.
Where the 1000 has 2 of them, but you can only plug one in if you want. But it actually comes with 2 with like a little interface to join them up together.
Right.
But obviously they're quite bulky.
Yes.
And having such a small boat, I've just got to find somewhere to tuck them out of the way. I'm almost probably going to fit them sort of into the gunnels at the back, so that they sort of like almost like a spare table, just sort of out of the way as much as possible, and then get them out when I use them. Until the summer, I'm not even bothering. I don't even bother trying, to be fair, because you'd have to leave the Jackery on the back deck in our boat. But you say Louise is putting the solar panel in the window.
Yeah.
Does that work?
Yeah, she's not getting a great deal because there's not a great deal of sunlight, but
No.
yeah, she's got it in. I mean, our windows are 4 foot by 2, and the panels more or less fits in the window. So she does in daytime. She puts solar panel in window and keeps it plugged in. And you know, if she gets 2 or 3% charge off it, it's there, isn't it?
Phone, charge your phones or whatever for nothing. So Yeah, that's a good. I think are the solar panels. Am I right in thinking the solar panels have got a USB in them?
I don't know. I haven't looked. So you're true.
I've got a feeling that the solar panels have got a USB plug in them as well. So you might be able to charge your phone or whatever from the panel.
Right, I'll have to have a look at them.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 5 watt. What? Louis, I'll say Louise, is that a Yep to it's got a USB in it? They have 2 USBs in them. There you go. So you can charge 2 phones. You know, when you're going along, you can plug your phones in the top in the panel as well as charging the Jackery up as well. I thought they were. So that means I've got 2 panels. I'll have 4 USBs. So, but yeah, Lisa's really excited about getting back out in the boat. It's going to be a bit of a different thing being so small. Thankfully, we're not having to stay on it permanently. We'll just be on it for like 2, 3, a couple of months, a month over winter. We're hoping to do a Spanish trip this year, so that we're not here for the harder bit of the winter, which will be nice. And then we can return. We're going to keep the mooring on when we'll return the boat to the mooring. We don't have all that hassle about having to move so far if we've got a home mooring either, which obviously I didn't know at the time. But we don't get, do you know that thing, Jeff, where you have to move so far?
Yeah.
When you're constantly cruising, you've got a home mooring.
Yeah, if you've got a permanent mooring, you don't have to worry.
You don't have to do that. You don't have to worry about that. So that's why, for the sake of the foot, what we pay a month for the mooring, it'd just be worth keeping that on. And then when we're not using the boat, we know the boat's in there and it's safe. So it's out the way. You just wouldn't. It costs more than that to go on anything. So, and plus I want to get the boat out of the water again this year to fit some new anodes. And I noticed across the back it's going a bit rusty on the waterline. So I don't know why, but just across the back of the boat, it's started to go a bit rusty. So whether I didn't put as many coats on that, the sides are fine, but it's just the back, just on the waterline, on the rubbing strip, is gone a bit rusty. Not sure why.
Didn't do something right.
Yeah, well, I'll get it out in March time, and I'll give it another blast and do it again. So, but anyway, we've actually been rabbiting on for nearly an hour. Can you believe it? Time flies when you're having fun.
When you're having fun and technical problems.
Technical problems, yeah. Well, it's going to get work. Well, saying that, actually, a friend of mine's given me this massive aerial to plug into my my internet on the boat. It's like a massive thing that he had on his boat. And he said if you put it on a pole at the front of the boat, it increases the signal like massively. So if there are any sticky places, then hopefully if I
go by a pub, mate. Go by a pub. More by a pub.
Obviously, but it's not always handy. But yeah, we our first stop, I think we're going to go up towards Cosgrove because obviously coming up to February and March, I've got to help my sister out. So I was going to go south, but then it just means I've got to travel further for work and Valentine's Days and Mother's Day. So I need to get all that out of the way before we don't go further away from Northampton. So we'll see. Anyway, anyone got any? We haven't had many questions because obviously we've been flicking them through. Oh, hang on a second. What's this one say? Narrowboat Libby said, "How much are you paying for red diesel? We bought 2 weeks ago for £1.14."
Where was that?
One point. That's cheap, that isn't it? From a fuel boat.
They'll be up near the Llangollen then.
Really? Narrowboat Liberty?
Yeah.
That is cheap. I mean, last time we filled it up, it was £1.74. I think Misty and me have paid £1.70 in a marina. It's always dearer in a marina. But I heard that Jules Fuels is about £1.30 at the moment.
Yeah.
So for red diesel, so it's getting cheaper. I noticed it's getting cheaper at the pumps as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
like 167. I think our nearest garage is now for diesel. And Louis said you're paying about £1.40, Dave.
Yeah, and there's a BP garage in Sheffield that sells gas oil, red diesel. So I'm buying that in. I've got 2 big tubs, so I get 45 litres at a time, and it's about £1.38 a litre.
Oh, that's all right. Yeah, yeah.
But I'd rather pay £1.14.
£1.14. That's cheap, isn't it?
It is cheap, that.
No fuel boats down there, Louise says. You got no fuel boats down where you are?
No, nothing down there.
Anyway, enough fuel talk. We'll knock it on the head. We'll come back. I believe we're doing next February, so that'll be the first one. We'll have moved on the boat by then, so we'll have a see how that's gone. See how our first couple of weeks have gone on the boat. And we'll catch you all later. So we'll say goodbye from Dave from Narrowboat Changing Pace. Sol barely floating. And Chili Jam Jeff, also known now as Caretaker Jeff. We'll see you all later. Thanks for logging on and speak to you soon. Oh, it's the 6th of Feb. Cheers, anyway. See ya.
Bye.